I invite you to find a comfortable position. And before you close your eyes, touch the pew. Not the cushion, but find connection with at least one hand with the wood. Now close your eyes if you're willing. Take a deep breath and be at ease. That wood that you're feeling is attached to the building. And the building is attached and submerged at its foundation into the soil of the earth. It is connected to literally everything on this planet. You're touching a connection to the planet and everything that walks upon it. Every molecule of water, every molecule of earth, every single thing right down to the core of the planet, and the spinning of the motion inside, and the spinning of the surface, and the spinning around the sun, and the hurtling through space. But where you're touching is in direct contact with every person in this world. People who are suffering, people who are celebrating, people who think bad things are good and good things that are bad. Their hearts are literally in contact with your hand right now. Both of your enemies as well as the people you love are in contact with you right now. Send love to them all. Whether you agree with them or not, whether you're afraid of them or love them, send love to everyone. Imagine it leaving your fingertips, entering the fibers of the wood, through the screws bolting it to the floor, and the nails to the foundation, and the granite holding up this building buried in the soil, and the connection, the vibration of it all. Send love along that web. And also receive it. Feel it coming back at you. Draw it to yourself. And take one final breath and return. So as I was talking with kids earlier, I knew a person once who always seemed to have something hanging off the end of their nose. And it was very difficult to have a conversation with him. Because, it will embarrass him to point it out. Yet also, it might quietly humiliate him to discover later, and thinking back on all who must have seen it. Unfortunately, I never had the courage to tell him. And I regret it. I haven't made that mistake again. And so it makes me ask, what are the actions of a friend? Because it isn't just to have a party. A friend exists on all these levels, both joyous and uncomfortable, and difficult truths and wonderful revelations. I've always said that a friend will discreetly tell you when you have spinach in your teeth, dog hair on your dress, or if your fly is at half-mast. I should have told that man about his nose. Or maybe he preferred it that way. It happened so regularly he couldn't be unaware of it, right? Or is he absent of any real friend who would tell him? I imagine deep within a single living cell, there exists a vast community of little components which comprise the whole. They each have a function. How do they collaborate with one another for survival and evolution of their cell? What do they each do when faced with adversity? What is their job when not all is optimal? Do they notice one another? Because a cell either dies or mutates when faced with adversity. And if it survives, it often mutates to its advantage. The immune system is a perfect example of that. What makes that happen? How does evolution occur? What does a cell have to notice about itself and its environment in order to evolve? One could argue that the interior of the cell is not only self-observant, but co-observant. The components of the cell must be observant to one another as well. Now, beyond the micro level, everything that happens inside a community during a moment of crisis is in part a response to what is happening among others of its kind. That's what incrementally improves the quality of the whole. It's not a process without its grief and trial. But all change and growth comes with pain, or at least discomfort, anxiety, fear. Either as an incentive to change, these things happen. This pain, this discomfort, this anxiety, it either is the incentive for the change we need, or maybe it's as a result of it. Quite often both. What does the process of change, this difficult process of change, make us notice about ourselves and others? I know that I notice the immigrants in my community more now than at any point in my life. And I have taken the time to notice that their hearts and wants and desires and needs are absolutely no different from me. But until their lives were threatened, I didn't notice. You know? That's when we start to pay attention. That's when our antenna goes up. Is when people around us, when their experiences are evident to the point that even if we were to put their shoes on, they might feel different, but they are still feet. As a human community, we have a responsibility to be self-aware, to take the time to notice everything we possibly can about ourselves, everything we feel from our bodies to our minds. How we appear to others matters. How do you appear? Because others will be observing you, whether they mean to or not. It's easy enough to say we don't care what other people think of us. But that would be nothing more than a lie we always tell ourselves. Even a monastic hermit desires to be thought of by others as one who wishes to be left alone. He cares very much what other people think because it informs his experience of exclusivity from the world. It's okay to care what other people think, so long as we keep it in perspective. Because others are noticing. And what do we wish them to see, to learn? It's crucial, actually, for the evolution of our human civilization to be deeply co-observant of one another as much as we must be observant of ourselves. The more we know about ourselves and others, the more we can't help recognizing how truly interdependent we are. The more we understand how life makes us feel, the more deeply we are able to place our feet into the shoes of another person. And to imagine how afraid some people must be. Because we're afraid too. And what joy feels like when we see it on someone else. That kind of society that notices and takes upon oneself what it recognizes. That kind of society is a cell that does not die, but mutates to its advantage when faced with adversity. But again, it comes back to our awareness of self. Because we are powerless to understand the experience of others without first attempting to understand our own. And we forget about ourselves all the time. We forget that our needs actually really do matter. Our experience matters. Our understanding of our experience matters. That is the foundation, the granite in the earth of empathy and compassion. And it helps you figure out what to do. We all have a self. We animate this bag of flesh as we walk around and do stuff. What's the stuff that you're doing based on what you notice? And it's very easy for us to take on so much and think we have to save the world. I need to fix this person's life. It's not like that. It's noticing. It's allowing someone to be seen and to desire to be seen and to look in the mirror and give yourself some seeingness. That's where the connection is made. That's where it's like plugging in to something. And when you actually take the time to do that plugging in and recognize that you are just as much a part of that cycle of recognition and awareness and seenness. If we take the time to actually do that. And it doesn't have to be a big, huge production. If you're in the grocery store and you're going, I see that person, I see that person. That person has the same jacket as me. That's actually, you're not getting into their lives. You're not trying to figure out whether they're happy or sad. You're just noticing. You're attuning yourself. And that is completing a circuit. When you're wondering, what do I do? How do I deal with this world? How do I face what is out there? That's what makes it easier. The answers will come to you because of being plugged in. Because of just noticing the jacket of the guy in the grocery store in front of you. There's an energetic thing that occurs when you just notice. There's not going to be a quiz. You can forget what you just saw, but see it. It's a very simple activity that has profound, deep connection that can occur as a result of it. Involuntary connection. When you plug, like when the radio is plugged in, the radio doesn't spend time practicing being plugged in. It just transmits and receives once that connection is made. It doesn't have to think about that process. It's just natural to it. It's not an activity that requires you to be exercising effort. Just plug in. Notice stuff about other people. Take a little inventory. That person obviously took time to do their hair today. Noticed. That person has a booger. Noticed. And maybe if I have a chance to tell them discreetly, I will. So what is your faith, broad term? What do you believe? Even if it's a negative view of the world, be aware of what you believe. Notice it. Notice how it feels. If you think that there is goodness in this world, are you taking time to notice it, absorb it, drink it like a glass of wine when it occurs in front of you? Think about where that goodness came from. Wonder how your feelings propel your actions in the world. And now imagine your enemy feeling the same. And have compassion. One thing humans seem to have over single cell structures is an ability to be proactive. But that's an illusion. All life tends to be a fractal of larger and smaller versions of itself. The same proactivity occurs on the cellular level, which occurs on the societal level. Our ability to be proactive, to observe, to anticipate what might be coming next and work as a group toward a solution is how we best evolve. That we know we often should keep a tissue in our pocket for the unfortunate occasions where something is hanging off of our own nose helps us remember to be observant and, more importantly, responsive to the nose dangles of others. It's not rocket science. See what I did there? Take the time to just do the simple thing of noticing, and everything else will just fall in front of itself to make things happen that you think you don't have the power to enact. It's always that simple pebble into the pond that makes this ongoing ripple effect that reaches all shores. Don't think that what you do requires such a heavy lift, because if you make that connection, everything else can just flow. And you'll look back on the time since making that observation and go, wow, that observation really did make an impact that I wouldn't have expected of myself. My life and the quality of my life and connections with others is improved. Please rise for our